Hi everyone, this is Belal Khan and you are watching Simplified Coding. In the last video, we have done with the login part, but we did not save the user and we did not open the profile activity. So this is what we are going to do in this video. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to save the user in a local storage. And this time I am going to use SharedPreferences. You can also use SQLite if you want, but I am going to use SharedPreferences. Okay. So to do this, I will create a separate class. So let's create one more package and let's name it storage. And inside this package, I will create a class named, not package, we will create a class and I will name it Shared Preference Manager. And if you remember our Retrofit client, then you can see we had created a singleton object of Retrofit client. And the same we can do with a Shared Preferences Manager as well, or Shared Pref Manager as well. So let's create a single instance this time as well. So come back to Shared Pref Manager, and here first we will create a static instance of the same class. So let's create private static and the class name is SharedPrefManager and we can name it as minstance. Then we will create a context object because to handle shared preferences we need the context object. So we will create a context. Now we will create a private constructor and we will pass the context object to this constructor. Then we can initialize the constructor. Now we will create a synchronized method as we only want a single instance. So we will write public static synchronized and the return type would be SharedPrefManager as this method will return the instance of this class. So we can write get instance. Oops, we forget to write the return type. So return type is SharedPrefManager. And to this method we will pass the context. Then here we will check if this instance is null. If it is null, that means the object is not yet created. In this case, we will create a new SharedPrefManager and we will store it inside minstance. And we can pass the context object that we got from here, as the constructor is accepting a context object. So we have the instance. Now finally we can return the instance. So we have our singleton class ready. Now here we can create a method that will store the user inside SharedPreferences. And to do this I will create public void save user. And this method will take a user object. Now here I will get the SharedPreferences first. So let's write SharedPreferences and we will use the context object. Now this method takes two parameters. The first parameter is the name of the SharedPreferences. So let's define a name here. So this is my SharedPref name. So I can pass this variable for the first parameter and the second parameter is the mode. So we can use the mode private as we want only this application to access this shared preferences. Now we will create an editor object and we will call the edit method from this shared preferences object. Now we will put all the information that we got from this user object inside shared preferences. So we will write editor.put int let's say id user.getID. Then we will put string, rest all information are string. So I have user dot get email. Let's put email here. Then I have name, and then lastly I have school. Now finally I will apply the changes on editor. So we have saved the user and shared preferences. Now I will create one more method here to check if the user is already logged in or not. So how we will check this? If the user information is already saved in shared preferences, then we will assume the user is already logged in. So let's create one more method, and this time the return type would be boolean, and I will name the method as is logged in. Now here again I will create a shared preferences object. Then I will check if shared preferences dot get int, and the key is ID. I want to read back the ID that we saved, and the default value is -1. If it is not equals to -1, that means the value is already saved, because in MySQL we cannot assign -1, or -1 will not be assigned to any user as the ID. So if we are getting -1, that means the value is not saved, and we are getting the default value, which is the second parameter. So if it is equals to -1, that means the user is not logged in, and if it is not equals to -1, that means the user is already logged in. So in this case we can return true, that means the user is already logged in, and we can return false. And to simplify this thing, we can directly write here, cut this thing and write here return. So it will do the same thing. So we have the method to check if the user is already logged in. Now we also need to get back the user. So I will create one more method, and the return type this time will be user, and we will create get user, and I will copy the same thing. Now we can read the saved values from this shared preferences object. So I will create a user, and it takes ID. So we will write shared preferences dot get int ID, then email, the name, and school. So we have our user object. Now we will return this user, and again we can simplify the thing like this, only one line. So we have the method that will return us the user. Now we will create one more method when we want to log out. So we will create public void clear, and then we will write here the same thing. We will get the editor, and we will call the method clear to clear everything that is saved in the editor, and then we will apply the changes. So we will use this method when we want to log out. So we have our class that will manage the saving and deleting of the user who is logging in. So let's come back to login activity, and here if the authentication is successful, we will save the user. So we will write shared manager dot get instance, and we will pass the context like this. Then we will call the method save user, and we will get the user from this login response object. We have a get user method. We save the user. Now we will open the new activity. But this time when we will open the new activity, we need to close all the existing activities and we will open a fresh activity, because when the user will press back after login in, we do not want to show up the login activity. So that is why we will close all the activities and we will open a fresh activity. So first, let's create an intent. First parameter is login activity dot this, and the second parameter is the activity that we want to open, but we don't have any other activity for now. So let's create a new activity. Again, we will create an empty activity and let's name it profile activity. So now we will open the profile activity from here. As I told you, we want to open a fresh activity by closing all the existing activity. And to do this, we need to set some flags on this intent. So let's write intent.setFlags, and the first flag that we will use is flag underscore activity new task. And we also need one more flag, which is clear task. Flag underscore activity. I have written flag. It is flag underscore activity clear task. So we have to use these two flags. Now I will start the activity using start activity method. So we have our profile activity. Now we will also check if the user is already logged in. We will directly start the profile activity. So let's override a method, and I will override the onStart method, and here I will check if SharedPreferences dot get instance dot is logged in. If the user is already logged in, I will do this thing. Copy this and paste. Fine. And I will copy the same thing in the main activity as well. So let's paste it here. If the user is already logged in, we will start the we can directly write this here, and here as well directly write this. So if the user is already logged in, we will not show the registration form and we will directly start the profile activity. And inside the profile activity, we can check, paste the same thing. If the user is not logged in, we will start the main activity. Fine. So it is fine, guys. Now let's design the profile activity a little, and we will just display a welcome message. Okay, so let's do it. And for the sake of simplicity, I will use a relative layout. Let's give it an ID as well. So I will just display a welcome message. Okay, you can do whatever you want with your profile activity. So first I will create an object of text view. Let's initialize it. We have the text view. Now I will display the message. So first I need to get the user that is saved, and I can get it from the SharedPref manager class, and then I will display a welcome message. Welcome back user dot get name. Fine. Now let's try if it is working or not. So let me run the application. So we already have an account. Oops, one thing I just forget. I need to connect my phone with my hotspot. Then only it will work. So let me do it. When we will deploy our API in a live server, then it will work. But for now, we need to connect our phone with our computer because the API is locally in our system. So let's try login in pro.belalkhan@gmail.com and the password was 123456. Click on login. And you can see we have the welcome back Bilal Khan message, and we can also save the password. This is a new feature. So our login is working fine. Now if I will close the application and I will open it again, you can see I am directly at the profile screen. So it is working fine. And you can get the source code from the link given in the description of this video. Let me commit the changes again. So let me commit this. And what we did in this video, profile activity. Fine. I will commit it. And then I will push it in the repo. Now from here, you can browse the repository. So go to the link that is given in the description and you will get here. Actually, you will get here. So this is the commit that I just pushed. And to browse this commit, you can click here. And you will explore the repository at this commit. So you will see the codes that I have written now. So that's all for this video, friends. For any kind of question, you can leave that in the comment section below. And I hope you liked this video. If you did, then please hit on the like button, subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends. Thank you guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.